You have a wonderful question that just popped up as far as journalism, because you saw me get on my rant. Thank you for the question, Octavia. In today's time, I think it's what's considered a journalist? Still have my glasses on. What's considered a journalist? Great question. From my definition, a journalist is someone who is reporting a particular topic or idea from some level of expertise. That expertise could be from their own experience, and that gets into the opinion columns. I've done two startups and I sold my second one. So I can have a level of expertise when it comes to doing startups personally. It could be someone who talks to what we call SMEs or subject matter experts and actually breaks that down and says, oh, okay, I talked to the person at OSHA and they had this to say in regards to health and compliance in the corporate environment in America when it comes to safety, which is what OSHA does. Just spitballing here. So I think it's someone who has the ability to either have that expertise because of the experiences they've had, or they've connected the people, these subject matter experts, and are able to communicate that. I think the second level of it is having some level of objectivity and some level of insight that's beyond the average reader or person that's enjoying the content, reader, watcher, what have you. And Octavia, you kind of are asking a really good question and circling around what makes it difficult. And so I have a master's in magazine publishing and I have a bachelor's in journalism with a specialty in computing. I got those a long time ago. And so at that period of time, there was a thing where you could be a journalist. You need to have some type of, there was a barrier to entry, and even gatekeepers, which we bemoan the idea of gatekeepers, particularly with a lot of the work that I do. And I've even said this on this program in the past 408 episodes. You definitely caught me saying that, as well as in the different books. There also is a positive to the gatekeeping in some cases, because if someone was on ABC, CBS, NBC, and maybe PBS, which were the four channels that we had when I was a kid, when I was the same age as my kids that I have right now, then there was a level of verification. Now, that doesn't mean that we are represented. We, however you want to take it. What it means is that there was a certain amount of credentials that came with that. And so a certain level of objectivity that at least was trying to be achieved. And one of the things that's happened with journalism is that that's kind of spread apart. And now it's become a lot more complicated. And now, if you got a microphone, I'm recording this on my on my phone, and it's through software that I'm able to get off the shelf, and I pay them a monthly fee, and it's simulcast to all the five platforms or so that I talked about at the beginning of this episode. So yes, I have 2 degrees in journalism, and also if I didn't have those, I'd still be speaking to y'all now. Do you know what I mean? So the idea of who is and isn't a journalist becomes a lot more complicated. So hopefully that helps a little bit. At least in my definition, it's someone who has a certain level of expertise and or access to expertise. So it'll be these subject matter experts. And kind of thing that's being implied, someone that has access to a platform. And the access to the platform is a lot bigger. Unfortunately, that level of expertise hasn't raised up with that. And so I didn't start this TV show until I'd already sold my two startups. And I think at that point, I'd done 3 TED Talks, one on the second stage on the main conference up in Vancouver. And I think I'd already done 2 TEDx's here in the United States. So I didn't start talking to y'all until I had that level of expertise. But that's based on my criteria of what a journalist is. And it's like, all right, now I can start a TV show. Now I have some game to share. Now I have insights. I sold some startups. I'm of a certain age in my case, so I'm able to show up in a certain way. Not everyone has that criteria, and that's kind of one of the challenges with journalism. If we're going to talk about this, then I might as well go ahead and pass along something that coincidentally I actually did do with the TED Foundation. And it's a video called How to Choose Your News. It's actually through TED Ed. And As y'all know, I've worked with Ted behind the scenes as well. I'll go ahead and throw that in there as well. Excuse me. There we go. And so if you guys are watching the replay, the link is below. If you're not watching the replay and you're doing it live, then you can go ahead and click on there right there. But thank you so much for the question, and happy to go ahead, happy to go ahead and talk about journalism, and because particularly in this period of time, it gets a lot more complicated. And thank you for the question again, Octavia. Again, this kind of got spurred upon, I'm assuming, by the IIJ conference happening exactly a month from now, February 27th, 28th, online, etc. You know, you go to the website. It's already pretty low cost right now. I think it's early bird special still for next day or two. And also, you can use my code Damon to get even more off in there. Octavia, thank you for your wonderful question, and thanks y'all for your patience and indulging me as I talked about what journalism means and frankly, I think where the future is going. So when it comes to asking for what you want,